There we go.
All right, we're live.
Welcome to the Gordox Pub, where the drinks are free.
Because you can't drink unless it's virtual anyway.
Yeah. So tonight, for those of you who may eventually watch this, we are attempting to get a character design kind of figured out, with the goal of eventually having of designing a comic book online. Right? That's our goal.
Yeah,
Lofty aspiration.
Yeah, maybe doing something. I don't know if we would give away all the script or whatever online, but we do some drawing and some talking and designing and then layout and build a comic book. I don't like. We're probably not going to hand leather the comic book and all that, so you wouldn't be able to read it page by page. But I thought it would be really interesting. Actually, Brett suggested it originally that
it's all my fault.
That nobody's really doing just making a comic book online or making a comic book on stream. So I thought about it and I was like, well, if we do a comic book on stream, it's a lot of work and we're not really going to get paid for it because you really don't make money on streams. But then the more I thought about it, then you would have something that you actually watched get designed and put together. So it would be a little bit more than just your average comic book because you were in on it the whole way, right?
Right.
So that's where we're starting. And another thing about live streams is that, well, they're supposed to be interactive. So you could actually have your input be a part of it. So for our loose designs and sketches right now, I'm just using regular copy paper just because all the other paper is way more expensive and I don't know what I'm going to use of this. We're just kind of noodling around and seeing what's acceptable. So far, So we've been talking about a soldier team kind of in the future. We haven't gotten very clear, but I think we're trying to make it a little bit more organic where it all happens together. I don't know how that's going to work though, but hey, we'll give it a try, right?
Nothing screams success like creative work done by committee. So the more people we can get to help us, obviously the more successful we're going to be.
Yeah, just like Snakes on a Plane and
yeah, that whole franchise of one movie. So
I was just seeing something about Jack Kirby saying that it's not the tools you have, it's not the brush that you're using, it's not the pencils that you're using. All the tools are static, they're dead. It's the person. So if you want to make it, it's the person that makes it happen.
Okay.
And you could look at it as artistically, or you could look at it as this comic book or an idea or a movie or a book or a story or anything really. So we're doing something within our comfort zone, but slightly outside of our comfort zone, right?
Well, yeah, especially because we don't normally create. I mean, I realize there's not like a ton of people watching this at the moment, but still, we don't create for an audience. Normally, we create when we've had time to plan and revise and all that good stuff. But so it's a little bit less than our comfort zone. Also, we haven't. I haven't done a whole bunch of post-apocalypse. Well, it depends on how you look at it, I guess. But I don't normally do a whole bunch of. And we are going for the post-apocalyptic thing, right?
Are we?
I kind of thought we were.
I kind of thought we were going for dystopian future.
Okay, we can do that.
But I mean, I do like post-apocalyptic.
Well, there might be areas that are therefore more post-apocalyptic than others.
Yeah, right. Well, dystopian just means it's not happy, right?
Right.
So it means it's darker, futuristic. We can choose.
It's not running on hopium.
We can choose what it's going to be as necessary. So, a couple of things we talked about were cyborgs and teams, like military teams. And kind of looks like it's coming together. As a combination. Character designs probably should just be flat out frontal view, side view, whatever, back view, but I didn't want to draw that this time, so it's kind of a down shot.
Hold on. Or I'm muting myself. I'm not leaving. I might be drawing something while you're drawing something. If I can get some paper.
Well, that's the most excellent thing I've heard in a long time.
Except for you can see what kind of a wuss I am, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting my camera on my drawing. At least not while I'm doing it.
Well, you don't have to.
What? I got an idea for something. Do you have an eraser that isn't a nub? No, sorry. Okay. That's all right. I don't need an eraser. I don't make mistakes.
I got 2 kids.
I want you to see the different tools I have versus yours. This is a this is a fancy one, Ticonderoga. Okay, it's premium with no eraser. So,
Well, this right here
yeah,
doesn't have an eraser either.
you have an electric eraser.
Not on hand.
Okay, but you have one.
I do have one. I have a mini eraser right here too.
Yeah,
But
I
this-
don't even have that.
This doesn't have an eraser. I am not using an eraser.
It's because real artists don't need erasers. That's a
Yeah.
lie, by the way.
Yeah, that's crap.
I don't want someone to go
They
and
make
take that
erasers
seriously.
for a reason.
Yeah. I
They
just
make-
want somebody to later on be like, you said that real artists. No, that's a joke. But it also means I can't erase. But I might get some ideas down at the very least.
Well,
I'm saying I can't fix anything as I flesh this out.
if you notice, I'm not drawing heavy, I'm drawing light and then going over it and over it. And as you go over it, your hand will rub some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And what stays is what you've gone over enough to commit. I don't ever draw dark until everything is set the way I want it to be.
Well, aren't you special? Because I have a fat hand and I.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but
I'm saying that I can't help but press down. It's been one of my major flaws of my own artistic skill.
well, it took me a while to learn how to not press hard. But pressing hard, and that's one of the good things about this pencil, where it's not really it doesn't really come to a point that's really dull,
Yeah.
is that I'm not worried about pressing down real hard or doing fine line detail because I'm not there yet. That's one of the reasons I use this type of pencil, is so that I get in the mindset that I can't really do that until I'm there. That way it allows me to make changes all the way through until I get there.
I entertain myself.
Sell yourself too short if you're thinking about being perfect in 5 minutes.
No, I don't. I just
That's good because you shouldn't.
I just find the whole thing. Trust me, what I just drew, which eventually will become what I want, I think. If turned improperly, might look like something else. And I was thinking about this Skeletor group I'm part of on Facebook, where one of the running memes is there'll be some picture of something that, whatever it is, like it could be a flower, it could be a tree trunk, it could be, I don't know, a smoothie. But if it's shaped correctly, so it kind of gives the impression of female genitalia, then underneath it they'll have Skeletor go, and then unzips like below frame. But it's zip. So this was kind of in that vein on accident. Wasn't really trying to do that, but yeah, I did it. And the best part is I don't need this to be perfect. Gotta try something else. So, we've talked about a little bit about some stuff, but the idea of, you were saying dystopian future, and we had talked about post-apocalyptic and some of our inspiration ideas. The Postman, if anyone that's ever seen the film. So
well, that was more your.
You're right. That was more my thing, but
your inspiration.
What if there are like city states, and in between the city states is just a wild no man's land almost? Like, I don't like the desert of Mad Max.
Yeah, wasteland.
Yeah, I've never. I don't mind some of that. And don't get me wrong. I think. Mad Max is definitely.
Well, Mad Max is Australia too, so.
That's true, but I love.
You're talking about the terrain that they already have.
Well.
A lot of muddy. Oh yeah, a lot of muddy. Kind of nasty, dry, deserty. There's a lot of that stuff there. So, and I'm not saying it's all that, but what I'm saying is that's why it would be so prevalent in Mad Max, because that's an Australian concept film,
right?
And that's the local. That is basically what it is locally, so. So wasteland could be anything.
Right. And you could, depending on where you want to go with this, you could have some really interesting flora and fauna that you mess with. If I'm in city A and I got to get to city B for whatever reason, and maybe city B is in the middle of basically a bog, and depending on however they got to that point, how far off in the future, there could be irradiated giant bugs or something. There are all kinds of different things you could have.
Right.
And that way also you could have some very interesting looking city-states.
So what do you draw on a map?
No. Uh, one of the no. Let's put it that way. No. So you know how you had talked a bit about how you kind of liked an espionage aspect of stuff? Right?
Kinda.
Well, we were okay. So here's my thought process. As when we were talking about how we might have like, you could have like multiple city states, and in between it's kind of a wasteland, and so on and so forth. Which
Right.
that doesn't have to be set in stone. It's just an idea. But
No,
what
like
if?
that.
What if? Like one of a trope I think in espionage stories is that there's a defector that you have to go and get and bring back. Right? You have to go rescue the defector.
Well,
Defect-
more rescue or help escape, extraction.
right. Okay. So I don't know how much I want to say on stream just yet.
Yeah, well, don't. I mean, if when in doubt, you know what I mean.
Right, but I
There's
think
an old saying in comic books: "When in doubt, black it out." Well, black it out.
I'm just thinking that might be a good basis for a story.
The first plot, you mean?
Yeah,
Sure.
and yeah, I got an idea. So
All right. So that's where we start, right?
see, this is why I said start drawing something and I'll figure it out. Ah. Oh, I see how it is. As soon as I start typing something in the private comments, we start getting regular comments.
Hey.
So, Bernabent and Kitty Bell, welcome to the Gordox Pub. As we devise a comic book live on stream, sort of. Or at least parts of it. Something.
Well, this is supposed to be just designing a character sketch for now, right?
Right.
So all the stuff that we come up with after that's good. I'm glad we had a couple people stop in.
Ooh, another comment. Kitty Bell says, nice.
Yeah, this is all seat of the pants. Nothing was planned ahead of time. we just talked a little bit about a few possible ideas last night. We didn't even decide on anything for sure. So I figured I'd sketch, and if we didn't like that, I'd put it aside and sketch something else.
There's a Meticulous Piculus says, that's usually when the best ideas come. Free flowing, no pressure.
Yeah, right. I'm kind of used to being under pressure too. I was a tattoo artist for 30 years, so I'm kind of accustomed to drawing stuff on the spot while people watch. But if it's not working, don't worry about fighting to save it. Start something that is working. And the hard tab. I don't know if it was wise to start this far over on the page. Well, I thought I was going to do like 3 or 4 sketches, but
you might still. You never know.
No, there's not room for 3 or 4. I might be able to fit another 1 on there. And now that I have the loose sketch, I think I'm going to have to switch to my more magnified glasses. Well, they're still under, both of them are under +2. But
Bernabette says, heading out. Gotta work the homework. Gotta work the homework with the kids.
Well, Burnaby yet? Alright, thanks for stopping in, Burnaby.
Oh, is it Burnaby?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's alright. You didn't know. Burnaby doesn't draw a string himself. Actually, he's the one that, well, because of him, I hooked up with the Holbein.
Yeah.
He does a lot of kind of dark cartoons. It's a very cool, stylish work he does. I don't catch him streaming very often, but I like to hang out when I do. Most of the time that he pops up on the stream, he lurks. So we should feel privileged that he spoke.
Oh, yeah? All right. I shall feel privileged. So, I mean, just to make sure I'm clear on where we are in the process.
we're nowhere in the process. We're where we are.
We are somewhere.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when you say just to be sure I'm clear, like, I'm not any more clear than you are.
Well, I mean,
we're still just feeling things out, right?
Right. Part of, at least my process on a lot of these things is like I have to kind of have an idea of setting to know kind of the type of story that I'm willing to tell, or that I normally would look at. Like, I'm not looking for a romance necessarily in a dystopian future. Like, that might be part of it. But that's not the. It's not the main gist. You know,
no.
You could have a romance, but
I'm not going to be doing romance comics.
Oh, come on! But anyway, I'm just saying, knowing the location, the setting a little bit helps identify the types of characters that are probably there, and helps give me a foothold, I guess, to kind of get started. And I would say I'm somewhat of a spiral in my thinking, because I'll get an idea for a setting, sort of, and then I'll start getting a story, and then sometimes that means I have to go back and revise part of the setting, which then also might mean I have to revise some of my character, you know. So it's not necessarily a straight line, because I keep having to go back to things until everything is kind of worked out. So,
okay.
Like the thing I just put in the private chat.
Right.
That's a concept based off of, once we have, you know, I was thinking, once we said city states, I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. And post-apocalyptic, I just got to thinking about what would you need, what would be valuable, what, you know, you talk about, I think Elmore Leonard saying that you take up two characters and drop a bag of cash in between them.
Yeah, something like that.
So I was kind of thinking about that, and so that's how I got to that concept, right? Which, it's vague. I don't have character names. I don't have character designs. I don't have, you know, any of those things. But you know, it's a place to start, and then you know, that might change the way we look at various characters, or even character designs. So for example, I can see the character that you're working on right now being like kind of like the personal guard of the female character.
Oh, and I was thinking this was the infiltrator.
Well, it could be. I don't know. I'm just saying, because in the end, it's kind of the same thing. Because if you infiltrate and do the extraction, whatever.
So this was my thinking about, like, the team we were talking about.
Yeah.
Uniform. Like, this is a helmet. It's like,
yes, it is.
well, like I'm saying, you see any type of military helmet, right?
Right.
And they're basically, they have some standards that are all across the board. They have ear protection, they have forehead protection, they usually have the back of the neck protected a little bit. Well, this is like an advancement of that. Say this section slides away and the goggles raise. But other than that, you still have your helmet. So,
okay.
in essence, what I was thinking about was kind of making a futuristic military helmet. Like, I didn't want it to look like Halo or any of that shit, because we don't want to end up seeming too similar, right?
Right.
I've got this little central ridge that, to my thinking, that central ridge was an antenna. So it's like in the body, but it's still, it's not necessarily sticking up. It's just running right along the ridge. The goggles are wide enough so that you can see, so you can slide your eyes sideways without turning your head, and you have that full peripheral vision. That's basically what I was thinking of, is trying to design to fit. Like the pauldrons they have used, this is a backpack, so it's a military backpack. There's a couple of things on this belt, but I didn't want to get too Batman beltish. This is utilitarian, so like I was thinking this flips up and it's a comm or small personal computer or whatever. Could even be a hologram projector. But yeah, it's just suit wise what you'd need. Like, I was thinking also the outsides of the legs are more of a solid armor, and the insides are more of a fabric armor, like a Kevlar that's maybe a stronger weave. So I wasn't thinking guard so much as and I'm not, this isn't getting into colors or anything, just thinking of what is viable body armor to somebody that needs to be able to adapt.
Okay. That works for me. I mean, that's fine.
Because we weren't talking originally about espionage. We were talking about special forces type unit, which, they could exfiltrate also. I mean, obviously, if we're talking spies, spies are generally meant to look like what they're going into. Like, you wouldn't send a white guy into deep dark Africa, you know. You wouldn't send a white guy into in Japan or something like that, because they're obviously going to be tells. You'd send somebody that could blend in a little bit better, even if they look like a beggar or if they look like whatever, so that it was something that you would see more commonly in that area. Which makes interesting, because we never talked about. So we never talked about the wasteland zones or city states, but the irony is that the other comic book that I was writing recently, that's kind of how it was intended to be set up. But instead of like a paramilitary or whatever, there were certain people that were basically like the Templars were originally supposed to be. Like, they protect people on their journey, especially in the wastelands, you know. But
right.
I was thinking, I mean, fortress cities, but still the same thing. City states, fortress city. The only difference is how modern it is, right?
Right.
Pockets of civilization survived, and then there's pockets that were irradiated or pockets that were blighted for some reason, whether it be bombs or just general destruction. So we're kind of thinking along the same lines. You're pretty much expounding on what I was thinking with my other story. So this one was drawing basically the dystopian city, not post-apocalyptic, but you know, I think we're actually kind of we're kind of in the same realm of thinking. We're just calling it different things, or we want to be able to expand the milieu, so it's not just limited to it's post-apocalyptic, so it needs to be like Mad Max.
Right.
And that's never was my thinking when I made the suggestion of Mad Max. It was not about wastelands so much as tyrants running things and a more primitive state of being. I mean, the interest in Mad Max, I mean, obviously the visual interest is there, but it's the whole lawlessness thing. Right? It's the strong that rule, and he ends up being standing up.
My wife is here. I must listen. Rich, I put a message on private chat. I gotta go.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal. Well, like I said, it was going to be a short stream anyway, and I'm probably just going to finish inking this out, and then that's going to be done. I'm sorry to hear that news.
It's all right.
You know,
I will talk to you later.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye. All right, well, we'll play around with this for a little bit longer. All right. Well, in light of family emergency, me basically being done with the rough character sketch, I'm going to call it. And thank you for watching, whoever's watched. Thanks for your likes, subscribes, and all that. Thank you guys for talking in the chat. Have a good night. God bless.